The only computer I've ever really used was Apple. My dad worked in the aerospace industry. My mom was a stenographer. Shortly after the 1984 ad from Apple came out, we got one at home. I learned how to type on it. I did all my projects for school on it. I started a band around that time, and everything we recorded on was using Apple. And it had never really even occurred to me to check for a PC thing. Like, they never really made anything that made me think that they were in front of Apple in any way. I saw something this month that absolutely shocked the foundation of that belief. The new touchscreen Dell computers are gorgeous. They work exactly as well as what I expect from a great touchscreen device. I mean, the interface is intuitive, the graphics are bright and clear, and it looks and works great. It's the first time I've ever been curious about a PC-based system, and it has everything to do with Dell. My name is Mike Shinoda, and I play in Linkin Park. Nobody from Dell scripted this. This is just my story.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Linkin Park, please welcome Mike Shinoda. How you doing, Steve? How you doing? See you, man. All right. Mike, it's great to have you here. We didn't really talk about Tuesday night, but what did you guys think of that concert on Tuesday night?
Awesome, thank you.
I thought it was fantastic. You know, Linkin Park has been an amazing success. I mean, you have more consecutive #1 albums than any band this century with 5. And just a few weeks ago, you had the awards at the American Music Awards. Congratulations for that. You know, Linkin Park's also the biggest band on Facebook with 47 million likes. And you're the principal songwriter, the producer for the band. Of course, you're a great singer. And that's why I'm excited to have you with us today to talk about how technology is helping you. So you saw my subliminal to-do list suggestions I was sending out to the crowd. Now, you were a little more direct with your confessions, which I loved. Tell me what it is about the XPS that got you so excited.
Okay, well, just a little bit of background. I was a designer and an artist before I was a musician. I grew up drawing and painting, and as a kid, I wanted to be an illustrator. I got my Bachelor of Fine Arts from Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, which, in case you haven't heard of the school, it's a breeding ground for some of the most talented artists on the planet. It's a really rigorous thing they've got going on there. And one of the principal lessons in art school is the thing you noted earlier, which is that taking something that's difficult and making it seem simple is often the greatest design challenge. And in dealing with my band's complex stage show, our vast online community, that subject is always coming up. So I'm pretty familiar with the challenge of taking something like complex and making it look, sound, or feel intuitive. And when I saw the XPS all-in-one, my first thought was that it does that. It doesn't even look like a work computer. It looks stylish, it looks slick. I think it's really the next level with regards to Dell's focus on industrial design. But for me, one thing that stuck out was the massive touch screen, which I think puts it over the top, partly because I believe that touch screens are a game changer for people like myself who make music. But not just professionals, it's people from professional to beginner. In fact, you guys are going to be happy to know that that the XPS played a role in making the software, the music software, which I'm going to show you guys today, which is called Stage Light.
And I'm really excited. I can't wait to see that. I love how you describe the XPS 27 because it's really the design philosophy we took for all of our XPS products. And the change over the last few years is that professionals want products that are elegant, sleek, high quality, and great design. You know, but the IT side of this also wants manageability and security. And I think we nailed that with the XPS, because you just talked about how beautiful it is, but we've also put in a lot of business features like TPM for data encryption, pro support business servers, configuration management, you know, the things that you really care about. And we're going to be adding a lot more management capabilities over the next year. But you know, maybe we don't talk about those technical services, but technology is a big part of your job as the principal songwriter and the producer for Linkin Park. How do you integrate technology into the music and performance?
It's a great question. On our last few albums, I co-produced with Rick Rubin, who's one of the most influential and inspiring people that I've ever met. And at one point when we were making Living Things, our most recent album, he said very emphatically, in this way that only Rick can, that he said, no one ever works and writes the way you guys. He said, there's nothing like it. And I took it as a huge compliment because I know what he's talking about. He's talking about the process of us writing, recording, and mixing a song. And those are really the three basic phases that most of you guys probably think of when you think of how a song gets made. You write it, and then you record it, and then you take the stuff you recorded and you mix it. The difference between, well, we don't do that. And the thing that kind of sets us apart is how far away from that norm our process actually is. So for me, the beginning, the middle, and end of the process kind of are always happening at once all the time. I'm always writing, and I'm always recording everything I write, and all of those ideas as they get made, I'm always mixing them as they, to see how the sounds sound together. So because of the powerful technology that's available today, I can actually do those things to a song in a way that 15 years ago we would never even dreamed of. It actually might be pretty chaotic for some musicians to do it this way, but it's a method that I grew into naturally, partially because I grew up on the computer making art and making music, but also maybe more importantly, I grew up wanting to do everything myself and wanting to do those things without anybody's help. So I'm intimately familiar with my software, and in a sense, I use it as an unconscious extension of my ideas. It's kind of like if you guys, for maybe people who don't see themselves as a creative person, it's kind of like when you're typing on your QWERTY keyboard. You're not necessarily thinking of every single letter you're pushing, you're just getting your thoughts out. And that's how technology is at the center of the method in which I make art. And the way I use technology is one of the things that really sets our band apart from other groups creatively.
Yeah, this link between technology and creativity is fascinating. And one of the things you were telling me yesterday was about how you get inspired with every album, with every tour, with every project. So tell us more about this creative process.
Okay. Well, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you guys have no musical experience whatsoever? Can I see a show of hands? No experience. All right. Fantastic. That's a lot of you for anybody who couldn't see. I said it's probably more than
not everybody was honest.
More than 3/4. Well, with Open Labs, we developed a piece of music software that I'm going to walk you through right now. I'm going to show you an example of our creative process. And this right here, this is called Stage Light. I'm going to show you how our process isn't just impacted, but it's actually expanded by powerful but intuitive technology. And we'll start right here. This is your basic screen for Stage Light. Up at the top, I'll use the mouse so you guys up there can see it, but it is all touch enabled. Right here, you've got a rewind button, record button, play, stop. This right here is called a metronome. We call it a click track. It basically just shows you your tempo, and you can, of course, change that if you want. And right here, we've got a loop function, which you can turn on and off. And this lets you know what part of the song you're working on. One thing we've done with Stage Light is make it so you can play notes using different things. You can play notes using the mouse, you can use a QWERTY keyboard, and you can use the screen. For this first one, I'll show you the QWERTY keyboard. If you just start playing right there, you start making some music. And all you have to do is click on that, hit record. Let's say you've come up with a little phrase that you like. Just hit record and you can put it in. And since our loop function's on, it just loops. Let's say I played a wrong note. Maybe I can go in here. This is the grid mode, and you can see all the notes that you played right there. So all you would have to do is grab the note that you didn't like, and you move it. I can actually do that on the screen as well. If I forgot to play a note or I want to add a note, I could either do that with the mouse or I could just click right there on the screen, and you've got the note. I actually clicked in the wrong spot, so I'll move it over. Going on though, let's say we've got our synth hook and we like that. We can click right here and go down to a bass line and hit record and do that. One thing you'll notice too is that as you're playing, Stage Light basically just puts everything you're playing perfectly on beat. If you don't have the best rhythm, it'll help you out. Another thing though is, let's say I played that whole phrase and I played the whole thing too high. You just simply go here, select it all, and use this button to drop it down, and it's nice and it's a nice and deep bass sound. Okay. So let's move on. Let's say I play those two things and I like those. I want to add some drums. Drums are the type of thing that different people like to play drums different ways. So we've allowed, you can again use the QWERTY keyboard to do it. If you come down here, you can play right there. You could open up your drum kit and play it on the screen, just like this. And there's a third option that I want to show you that I like to use. It's called a step sequencer. You just pull out some frames like that, and you open it up, and this is your step sequencer. And when you press play, you'll see that little cursor moving across. And if you start adding notes, then they start playing, right? You can do multi-touch. You do them two at a time. You can drag one down and create a little bit of a groove. Do it just like that. And now you've got a nice little drum beat going on. So far we've done, everything we've done is just using the XPS and Stage Light. You didn't have to buy any other hardware, any other software, and you could just keep stacking tracks just like this until you're finished with your song, and you can send it to your friends and you're done. But let's say you wanted to add a piece of hardware. You want to try something that could expand the capabilities of the software. You might use something like this. This is a piano keyboard controller right here. I grew up playing piano, so this is the most natural instrument to me. And it basically, for those of you guys who don't know about these controllers, they work the same way as a QWERTY keyboard. This doesn't make any sound at all. It just tells Stage Light what to play. So I jump down here to this synth track, and actually what I'm about to play, I could play on the screen, I could play with the QWERTY keyboard, but for me, being a person with a piano background, this is just simply faster for me. So. Okay, there we go. So the last track down here is an audio track. And these tracks enable you to you can add guitar, you can add vocals, you can add drums, anything you can record directly into the computer. What Stage Light actually also comes with is a library of audio sounds that if you right-click on the screen there, you can see your sound browser and you can open it up, and you can use any of these sounds right here. If you want kind of like a hip-hop break beat, you can do something like that. If you're thinking, oh no, this is a rock song, I want to go down here and grab a rocker chorus, sounds like the kind of beat I want. And all you have to do is just go ahead here and click add, and it jumps right into the track. In fact, Stage Light will determine, it will look at your file and say, oh, this thing is, let's start the track here, let's end it here, and it'll put it on beat for you, even if it was recorded to a different tempo. It'll stick it on the beat, and if you were to change the tempo of your song, it'll stretch and compress to stay on tempo with your song. You don't have to do anything, and that's actually one of the more powerful parts of the software, but again, it's made easy. Let's say though that I don't like this drum beat on here, and I have a friend, this doesn't really finish the song for me, and I've got a friend who recorded some guitar at home. I
do that all the time.
Let's say Steve recorded some guitar for me at home, and all I would have to do, he could email it to me, he could he could post it in the cloud, I could grab it, put it into my song just like this. I just import the audio, and again, it just locks right into our song, and we've got the whole thing. And all we have to do, once we got a finished song, we just go up here to the menu, mix it down. This mixed down song right here would send it to the desktop. You can put it on your MP3 player. We also have an option to mix down directly to SoundCloud, which is basically in one click, you can send it to your SoundCloud account, and all your friends online can go check it out.
Fantastic.
That's it. What do you guys think? So I think that probably took us, what, like 7 minutes or so? And to some people that's crazy, right? You can make a Linkin Park song in this software in less than 10 minutes, do it pretty quickly. And although I know a lot of you doubt that you could do that yourself with no music background, the guys from Open Labs and I are very confident that you could too, because it's a super powerful piece of software, but it's built to have somebody who's never played a note in their life making music on it in no time. And for those of you guys that already have a Dell and you want to get it, I forgot to mention the price. It's actually only $10. And it's available at Open Labs right now. Excuse me, openlabs.com is where you can get it. Yeah.
Well, and today we're actually announcing a partnership with Open Labs, Linkin Park, and Dell, so that anyone can get these capabilities on a limited edition Linkin Park Touch product from Dell, including this XPS 27 that Mike uses. You know, Mike, I love how you describe collaboration with Open Labs, their newest software, and it spawned from your feedback. And interacting directly with customers, listening to what they say, acting on their feedback, that's been the core at Dell since we started. Mm-hmm. And in the last few years, we've added a lot of capability around social media. We take part in more than 25,000 conversations every day at Dell. And customers have been intrigued by our use of social media, so much so that last week we announced a new social media service that everyone here can take advantage of. And if you want to learn more about that, go to #DellSocial on Twitter. But Mike, Linkin Park is really into social too. Besides selling over 60 million albums worldwide and being one of the most successful touring acts in the world, Linkin Park also commands one of the largest social media communities on the planet. You have over 47 million fans on Facebook, more than any other band. And you were early adopters of Instagram and Vidi and Cinemagram, which are all now big hits with app users worldwide. So what advice do you have for the audience around social?
My advice to everyone here about social media is probably similar to Warren Buffett's advice on investing. You get involved in things you know. You do your homework about what's out there, and you get involved with the things you connect with, the things that line up with who you are. It's also important to stay focused on a two-way conversation, on trying to, on actually genuinely listening to people and trying to help them. Think, will your post or your photo enhance their lives or entertain them independent of actually selling anything? I think our success on Facebook and the other platforms you mentioned can be attributed in part to that. And I think it's just because we're a part of a generation that loves discovery. You know, whether it's a song or an app or an idea, we like the rush that comes from finding new things and sharing them with our friends.
Warren Buffett and a rock star. What a perfect combination. It just sounds so natural to me. Speaking of sharing things, you had mentioned to me earlier that a lot of times you don't have access to the instruments you need to create, you know, some of the demos, and you're using your laptop and you're on the go, and you know, that's very similar to a lot of professionals who need a way to access information anywhere, anytime, but in a secure manner. So I think we can help you with something here. And to demonstrate that, I'd like to invite up Tarkan Maynor, who was former CEO of Weiss, a company we recently acquired. He's been doing a lot of work around desktop virtualization, and he's the brainchild behind our cloud client computing solution. Tarkan.
Good to see you. Amen. I'll tell you something, when you guys are making music there, that's cool. I cannot up that, I'll tell you. You have to tell your children tonight what you're doing here. Awesome, awesome. So I have a gift for you, because she's not giving you any gifts. I got you a beautiful XPS 12 here, convertible. Beautiful laptop turns into a obviously tablet. Camera number 19. right there. So this is basically our Windows 8 tablet and XPS 12 convertible, turns into a tablet. The tile view, we have actually, we're going to give you this as a gift, but we hacked into it before we give you a gift. So we're running a Dell Pocket Cloud. Basically gives you the capability, Mike, as you're traveling around the world, as you're creating songs with Steve Felice, because I know he's going to join your band now. As you're creating more music, you can touch that music, you can edit that music from the cloud anywhere you are, right? And that's a big deal. So what we've done is actually the concert you had on Tuesday night, we put that in your own cloud, personal cloud, where your PCs, physical, virtual, your virtual machine, your hacked one, we hacked it, right? The video is right there. So with Pocket Cloud, we're connecting to, basically to your view, to your own physical machine in the cloud. We're searching for that video we named after Dell, of course. Okay. Let me type that very quickly. Camera 19, good. Let me see. So we have 2 files for you, not 1, 2, because you're too cool for that, for 1. And we're running that video, rendering from your own cloud here, locally in the machine, without taxing your network.
Wow.
And not only the music, but the video. Imagine as you're creating more videos and more music, you can touch that from anywhere, from any device. Amazing. A machine like this, an XPS 27, an XPS 10, or my favorite machine, an XPS 13. Can you hear that? I love that song, by the way. I really do. I love that song. I'm dreaming about that song every night right now. I love it. Anyway, that's the point. Cool?
Yeah,
I love it. Here we go. This is
right.
Pocket Cloud Explore, and by the way, that's $14.99, available today. Please download a second one. I need revenue this quarter.
Awesome.
Pleasure.
Thank you,
Thanks,
man.
Sarge. Mike, we're going to let you go, man. It's been a real blast. I can't tell you how much fun I've had the last few days with you. Thanks so much for being here at Dell World. Thanks for showing everybody your capabilities. Thanks for the concert the other night. Everyone, Mike Shinoda.
Welcome. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Here we go. It's your gift.
Amazing.
Take it home.
so much.
Take it home. It's
Awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Take care. So,